My name is Jo Haigh and I'm the CEO at FDS, and I'm here to explain about employee ownership trusts. Sometimes that's abbreviated to EOT. If anybody uses that word, they're not describing some wild and wonderful animal. They're describing a method of transferring the ownership of your business into your employees' hands. Now, of course, there are multiple ways of transferring a business, and succession planning is often something that's on the mind of an entrepreneur almost from the moment they start the business. And of course, one of those options is for the employees and management to take over the business. Traditionally, that might have been facilitated by what we would call a management buyout, or sometimes called a vendor-initiated management buyout. And whilst there's absolutely nothing wrong with those structures and they can work perfectly well, there are certain reasons why you may consider an EOT to be slightly more effective. So there are lots of ownership schemes for management, included EMI schemes and the like, but that doesn't necessarily transfer ownership directly to the staff, whereas an EOT allows you to transfer the ownership of the business to the staff and for you as a vendor in an extremely cost-effective way. So there are benefits both for the owners and for the staff who are going to take ownership of that business. So first of all, let's look at you as an owner. So as an owner, what happens is that once you transfer your business into the EOT, all the proceeds of that sale you can take out tax-free. Yes, I did say tax-free. So there is no capital gains tax at all on the transfer of a sale to an EOT. That isn't the case, of course, with a management buyout or with a vendor-initiated management buyout, where you will be paying capital gains. Now, as I record this, on the first million, that is at 10%, which we call entrepreneurs relief. But post that, of course, entrepreneurs relief was actually diluted in the 2020 budget, and therefore after that you will be paying capital gains tax at the full rate. So as you can see immediately, there is a capital gains tax, really unimaginable benefit for the entrepreneur. In addition, there's lots of benefits for the staff, because with a management buyout or a VIMBO, traditionally they would be expected to put into the transaction what we might call hurt money. And that is often somewhere between 1 and 2 years' salary. It's called hurt money, by the way, because while the other funders don't want to make the lives of the investors too upsetting if they lose their money, they want them to have some what we might call skin in the game. But I don't think anybody probably listening to this would easily want to lose between 1 and 2 years' salary. The beauty of an EOT is that you can actually transfer the money into this scheme without costing the staff any money at all. And the beauty, of course, in transferring a business to the staff is that you get much more likelihood of increased employee engagement. And stats show that, produced in 2019, that productivity increases between 7 and 15% for those employee-owned businesses. It makes the business much more resilient, much more sustainable, because of course there is this sense of ownership, and that is why it is something to seriously consider as part of your succession planning. Now, while all that sounds fabulous, and it's so fabulous that I've in fact doing it in my own business, of course you do need to have a team of experts around you to put that in place. So the whole process starts with a valuation. And that valuation has got to be acceptable, both to the EOT and also to the vendor. The complexities of the tax process also need some expert advice to make sure that it is compliant with HMRC regulations and that it is robust enough to stand any investigation at a later stage. Of course, you also need to set up this EOT, which is a trust company, and you need to have an agreement between the EOT itself and the company that is making the sale to that to make sure, again, that the terms of those agreements are acceptable. So the funding process can either be done by a vendor loan, where the vendor waits and realises the value of that asset over a period of time. So profits are transferred from the company that he or her has sold into the EOT, and then the vendor takes those monies out tax-free. Or alternatively, the EOT can actually borrow against the shares of the business. And finally, of course, it's really important that your staff understand totally what this process means to them. Because somebody to tell your staff that they're going to become owners in a business, which is effectively what they are, whilst it sounds great to those of us who have perhaps come from an entrepreneurial background, it might be somewhat scary to people who have never been in that position before. And while it isn't scary at all, that total communications plan needs really very careful handling. Now, what we have done at FDS is put together what I can only call an ACE team to provide you with a one-stop shop on the whole process. And by that, I mean that we can value your business. We can make sure that the tax regulations are adhered to. We can, through our lawyers, make sure that all the legal process and the terms of reference are agreed, including the vendor loan note. We can help you find the funding, and we can provide you with a fantastic comms plan to make sure your staff are fully engaged and that the EOT then becomes successful. So I hope you found that interesting, and if you'd like to find out more, we'd love to hear from you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.